Hello and good morning. Yes, it is a good morning indeed. Bright and early, and we're heading to the gym for chest day. Today I am actually going to go to my actual gym, not the fitness center, because I want to get a straight up pump. My neck is feeling fine today. Still going to take it easy, not going to go for any PRs today. Going to keep it simple, keep it level headed, make sure my ego doesn't take over like it normally does, because I'm an egotistical man, a fallen man. But anyway, yeah, today's chest day. Gonna get that pump in, and tomorrow's gonna be back, so I'm excited about that. Like I said, back day is my favorite day to train. Also, I have an audition this Friday, so I'm excited about that. It's gonna be a one-on-one interview with it's for a school safety video. Can't talk too much about that. But I am excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for the results, even if I don't get it. A lot of the time, I don't need to get the role. It's just doing the work that's exciting for me. Obviously, getting the role is a huge benefit and a huge reason why I'm doing it. But a lot of the times, like I said, the work is what brings me joy. And sometimes that's all you need. But let's get to the gym. I got my pre-workout right here, and I'm going to drink it down on my way there. Let's have some fun. So I'm now at the parking lot of the gym, and you want to know some smeg? This is some smeg, and you're all going to agree this is smeg. We had a false spring again. Now, what do I mean? What does that mean? In Pennsylvania, spring just can't show up. It shows up like a week before summer comes, and the rest of the time it's just winter, and it's just winter. Like, I know we're the state of the groundhog, but come on. It's not 2 more weeks of winter. It's winter until it becomes over 100 degrees for like 4 months, and then it's back to being unbelievably cold again. Sometimes we joke about up here saying like we have all 4 seasons. We really don't. We don't get spring, and we barely get autumn. We have winter and we have summer, and that's it. There's no in between. It's either so hot that it almost puts Texas to shame, or it gets so cold that Alaska's like, bro, I'd say you need to chill, but we're chill enough up here. The state is wild when it comes to weather, and I have no idea why Pennsylvania has such frantic weather conditions. We get storms. Like I said, last time we had a tornado warning, and I'm guaranteed that did hit somewhere, just not near me. But the weather of PA is the most unbelievably inconsistent thing you will ever experience. Now, I'm at the parking lot at the gym, and honestly, I probably didn't even need my pre-workout today because I was already awake enough as it is, but I need something to drink on my way to the gym and think about life. But I'm going to do chest, and I'm probably just going to record it like another short as opposed to trying to do the whole setting up the camera and things like that, and then upload the short to this video just to make it a little easier on myself today. But yeah, I'm going to have some fun, and I'll catch you guys in the gym. And it is chest day, my friends, and I am opening up this chest day with some flies. And yes, I know the weights are not correct. I can see that. I saw that after the set was over. I fixed it the next set around, but you live and you learn. So what should we talk about today? I was thinking we should talk about movies. Talked about music yesterday, so why not film today? Should be fun. And when it comes to movies, my favorite genre is the horror genre. And what I like about horror is that it can be kind of manipulated to be very different subgenres in of itself. Now, of course, we already know there's subgenres of horror, but I like to call certain ones funhouse horror. These are horror movies like The Conjuring, It, Insidious, to where there's quite a few jump scares. You go with your friends, and by the time it's all over, everything's okay. You all had a laugh here and there. Sort of like you're at a fun house. Then, of course, there's genuine terror movies. Like I said, Lake Mungo is the scariest movie I've ever seen, but that's based on the subject matter of the movie. What's going on in the film scary. Movies like The Exorcist, The Omen, these are more genuine horror films where you're seeing it to be scared, not so much have a fun time while being scared. And I'm not talking about disturbing movies either, because that's a different conversation altogether. Which there are some disturbing movies that are great, but I'm talking about horror for the sake of fun, not for upsetting reasons today. And I think that's why I'm such a big fan of the production company Troma. Their movies, while they do have some actual horror movies in their selection, ones that are made by Lloyd Kaufman, they tend to be more horror comedies, more so comedies than horror, in that it is so unbelievably gross and over the top that you just can't help but laugh. And the movies are very much well aware of that too. They are very much played for the joke. They're not played for anything serious. And they're perfect movies that you get with friends who appreciate this type of film. That's why I love Poultrygeist. That's why I love Terror Firmer. Get some friends and check them out because it's worth it. And we are now back from the gym, and unfortunately I did not find a fun stick to play with on my way back, but I do have my post-workout yogurt here, and I might use some rice cakes as to dip into it, or I might just eat it as normal. But I do have work today. I have to work a full shift, as we all do, because the grind doesn't stop for anyone, my friends. The grind does not stop. So, I'm going to chow this down, get ready for work, run to the store, lickety-split, just to get some last-minute lunch snacks. Nothing too major, just something small. I already have my kiwi. I remember to pick those up, so that's good. But outside of that, just gonna get a couple more fruits. I think I still have some salad left in the fridge. Gonna bring that and work my shift, come home and relax. Do my mobility drills and call it a night, because going to bed early to bed, early to rise, my friends. Early to bed, early to rise. I'm probably gonna fall asleep around midnight or something like that, like I did last night, but I know this is going to taste good. I can't wait to eat it, and I'll catch you guys when my shift is over. Peace. And now I'm home. I've actually been home for a while now. I didn't charge my camera, so it was almost dead, and I got a little bit of food in my stomach. But it's getting pretty late, so what else is there to say, really? It's a pretty tiring day overall. Yeah, I know Diet Cola has some caffeine in it. I shouldn't be drinking that right now, but today wasn't too bad. At the start of it, I was kind of feeling a little overwhelmed, but then I got some backup, so that was nice. And then it was just a pretty average day at work. Nothing really special happened. I had to move a lot of stuff around, but outside of that, work was all right. It was a good day. I had my salads and all that fun stuff, but I was thinking about, I spent a lot of time just thinking about the one thing I really like, and that one thing I really like is Starship Troopers. I don't know why, I was just thinking about that all day today. For people who don't know, Starship Troopers is my favorite book ever written. I've read it multiple times. I listen to the audiobook once a month whenever I'm at the gym. It doesn't take that long to listen through. It's not even just at the gym. It's sometimes at like if I'm just driving around, I'll play it and listen to it, or just trying to relax. It's not the only audiobook I'll listen to. I'll listen to Dracula, Forever War, things like that. But I have a huge variety of audiobooks I'm listening through. it's easier for me to listen to audiobooks now when I'm at the gym than it is to, like, get out a book and read it. I still will read every now and again. Right now I'm reading through the Hammer Slammers series of books. The Tank Lords is the current one I am reading, and it is really good. And after that I'm going to read through John Steakley's Vampires, which John Steakley, if you didn't know, he wrote a Starship Troopers-like book called Armor. And like I said, I love Starship Troopers. It's my favorite book ever written, and I saw that movie when I was way too young to watch originally. Now, the first time I saw it, my friends and I were on vacation, or my family and I should say, and my friend came with us. And Starship Troopers was on TV because I forget what they were trying to promote a movie, I think, but I was enamored by it. And when I say I was really young, I was like either in 4th or 5th grade. I might have been 4th going into 5th grade at the time when I first saw Starship Troopers. The movie wasn't new by this point, obviously, but it was new for me. And it freaked me out because it was the scene when they were fighting the tanker. Tanker! And it spits out that lava from its mouth and makes that woman's arm melt. Freaked me out so much that I made them change the channel. But outside of that, it stuck with me. My brain just said, humans fighting alien bugs is awesome. And there's a lost piece of Dolby Media where I was writing my own pseudo Starship Troopers fan fiction where the bugs were invading Earth and humans had to fight against them, but they weren't like the pseudo arachnids from the movie. They were like actual, like, different variations of bugs, which eventually led into the book I'm writing now, which is again my take on Starship Troopers. I'm not going to give too much detail about it because I don't want anyone stealing my idea, because I actually really like it. I'm very protective at making sure people don't steal my ideas. But to get real for a moment, a lot of my love for the book Starship Troopers came from watching the movie, because eventually I did watch it all the way through and I fell in love with it. It was it's weird because, like, when it came to R-rated movies, if it was R-rated with violence, my dad didn't care too much, but if it was R-rated with, like, sex and nudity and things like that, or crude humor, he didn't let me watch stuff like that. So I watched Starship Troopers, Aliens, Predator, The Terminator, even though the first Terminator isn't that bloody. But he was okay with me watching violent action films. They didn't really affect me that much. I mean, it affected my taste in movies a lot. But outside of that, like, it didn't mess with my head or anything like that. But with Starship Troopers, I remember I was Googling a lot of stuff about it. I couldn't get it out of my mind, even though at the time when I first saw that clip, I was freaked out by it, but my brain just kept saying, this is awesome, so I wound up doing more research about it. I eventually learned it was written as a book. I remember it was the cover of the first edition with the guys in the ape suits parachuting down from the 1959 cover. And I thought that was really cool looking. I thought it was I didn't realize that was supposed to be power armor. I just thought they were people in space suits dropping down, but no, those were actual suits of power armor. And when it comes to Starship Troopers, it is probably the most influential piece of science fiction ever written, full stop. That's not me even saying best, I'm saying most influential. Because when you go down the lane, stuff that was either directly or indirectly inspired by Starship Troopers is insurmountable. Like, you got Aliens. James Cameron made everyone all the actors in the movie read the book before he started shooting. I mean, when Hudson says the line, "Is this a combat drop or just another bug hunt?" That's supposed to be a reference to Starship Troopers, implying they might have been involved in the bug war. Even the giant exosuit is a very loose interpretation of the power armor from the book. Speaking of the power armor, like I said, John Steakley wrote a book called Armor, which was about humans in suits of power armor fighting against an bug-like race called the ants. There was even the Forever War, which was actually written as a very well-constructed counterpoint to Starship Troopers, whereas Starship Troopers was very much a pro-military science fiction novel. The Forever War is an anti-war science fiction novel written by a Vietnam veteran, and it is a fantastic piece of literature. If you haven't read it, very much check it out. And I even loved Forever Peace. I know that one was kind of iffy with a lot of people, but I personally loved it. And then, of course, there's Bill, the Galactic Hero, which was meant to be a parody of Starship Troopers. If you haven't read that, read it, and you will see that the satire is actually probably more solid in that than it is even in the movie. And even when I was a kid, I could tell it was like meant to be more satirical, less genuine. It wasn't until I actually read the book that I was like, oh, okay, Robert Heinlein is writing a pro-military type story. And like as you get older, reading it, you'd be like, okay, and I started learning more about Robert Heinlein, what his views were at the time. But not just that. You got like Warhammer 40K, like the Space Marines are basically the Terran Federation. Obviously, they're much more like hostile and advanced, but even the Tyranids are like probably one of the few, like honestly, book accurate versions of the bugs from Starship Troopers, because the book accurate version of the bugs are a highly, highly intelligent race of space insects that don't hurl their spore into space like they do in the movie. They actually travel from planet to planet. An unintelligent species doesn't create space travel, as the book says. And I love the Starship Troopers so much that not only do I have more than one copy of the book, I have a copy of the movie, I also have a copy of the complete set of Roughneck's Starship Troopers Chronicles. Now, the only thing I need now that I've been looking for is a Laserdisc of the Starship Troopers anime. I've watched the anime, it's on YouTube, so that's not the issue. That's just a cool item to have, especially for preservation. And when you already know I am very strong with preservation. But when it comes to the anime, there's stuff in the anime that actually made it into the movie. If you've seen the movie, Johnny Rico plays football or some type of futuristic football. That's not in the book at all. They took that from the anime. So while they were trying to essentially parody or satirize the book in a weird way, the writer clearly had a love for the source material in some form. So, like, if you're going to find a detail from an outside source of not just the book, but an adaptation of the book that probably not a lot of people knew about, that's impressive. And also the anime has the power armor, more book accurate version of the power armor than the movie. Didn't even have the power armor at all. I know in Starship Troopers 3 Marauder, they have the Marauder suits, but they're nothing like the book's power armor. The book's power armor is like you're wearing a suit of armor. Like I could dance a jig if we can dance a jig to begin with. And in the anime movies that came out after that, Invasion and Traitor of Mars, they actually have more official book accurate power armor, which was cool to see. And probably the original Warhammer 40K Space Marine models are the most book accurate, even though I know it's not based on the book, but I'd actually say the power armor from Fallout is the most accurate visually to how the book describes it. The book doesn't go into too much detail. They just say resembling steel gorillas. And that is kind of what the power armor from Fallout looks like. They look like steel gorillas. And I know they're remaking the movie, or they're not remaking the movie, but they are doing another shot at an adaptation of the novel, which I'm excited to see. And like I said, I've been telling people this before. I have 2 acting goals: Power Rangers and Starship Troopers. I would love to play Ace in the Starship Troopers reboot. Why Ace? Why not Johnny? Well, because I care about the source material. It's my favorite book of all time. And Johnny in the book is not named Johnny, it's his nickname. His name is Juanito Rico. And he is a Filipino man. I'm not Filipino, I'm Italian, my friends. And while it would be an absolute honor to play Johnny, I want to honor and respect the source as much as possible. It's my favorite book of all time. And as cool as it would be to play him, I want to show honor to Robert Heinlein and how he wrote a piece of literature that affected me in such spectacular ways. So I would happily love to play Ace. I would love to play Johnny too. But like I said, I honor source material. And Johnny being Filipino like he is in the book, I think needs to be represented, because we don't even have that much Filipino representation in actors, I don't think. So getting a solid Filipino person to play Johnny in the reboot would be awesome. But I'd still love to play Ace, no matter what. That is my goal. That's my dream. Like I said, Power Rangers and Starship Troopers. And my love of Power Rangers, too. Speaking of that, these two cross over. My favorite season of Power Rangers is actually Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And you know what they did in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy? They used costumes from Starship Troopers, and in that season, they're fighting alien bugs. That is awesome. Now, I think my love for fighting alien bugs, while obviously heavily inspired by Starship Troopers, might have started with Men in Black, and I think that's because I saw that when I was really young. Like, my dad had a VHS of it, and he let me watch it, and it's a giant cockroach, so that might have started it. I'm not entirely sure, but humans fighting giant alien bugs is always a ride. And the one thing that has disappointed me, though, about Starship Troopers is that there's never been a great Starship Troopers game. I mean, there's been okay ones, but there's never been one Starship Troopers game that everyone goes, this is where it's at. And of course, this goes to a lot of things. A lot of the times it's things that are inspired by it that are seen as great. You know, you got Helldivers, you got Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. You got some of the Aliens games, which are really solid. But not even with Starship Troopers, you have things like Conan the Barbarian and Berserk, things like that, where there's never been a great video game adaptation of them, but there's been things that are blatantly inspired by it that have made for great games, like with Berserk and Final Fantasy VII, or Dragon's Dogma, things like that, or the Elder Scrolls games with Conan the Barbarian. You know what I mean? So it is kind of a shame that I've never gotten an official Starship Troopers game that's great. I've gotten great games that are very much Starship Troopers, but there's been no game of Starship Troopers that's been spectacular. Even though a lot of people said Extermination was fun, I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I can't play it. But maybe one day if it goes cheap and I just cough up $10 just to play it for a month, I'll give it a try. But I would love my dream Starship Troopers game, hear me out. It plays similarly to a Soulsborne type game, but you're a guy in a suit of power armor, hopping around, dodging around, moving around with your gun, and shooting at bugs and skinnies as well. I mean, the skinnies would have to become part of your side at a certain point, because the skinnies aren't necessarily evil in the book or in Roughnecks of Starship Troopers Chronicles. It's handled differently between the two adaptations. In the book, the skinnies are allied with the bugs, but then we say, hey, you keep messing with the bugs, we're gonna keep raiding you and destroying you, so they come to our side. But in the Roughneck Starship Troopers Chronicles, they're being mind controlled by one of the bugs. So that would be an awesome game. And apparently that's how Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is. I haven't played it yet. It does look awesome, though. I have to wait for the price to drop a little bit before I can buy it. And also, like I said, I'm completing other games first, and then I'm waiting for Rise of Ronin. And also, Doom the Dark Ages, another game about a dude in power armor shooting the heck out of some demons. That's awesome. And again, another thing that's blatantly inspired by Starship Troopers. Not so much, but at least the suit of power armor is very much ape suitish. But anyways, it's getting really late, and I still got to do my mobility drills for the night. So I have to call it here. As much as I would love to talk about Starship Troopers for just an hour, you have no idea how much I love Starship Troopers, my friends. Anyways, that was fun. I'll catch you all tomorrow.